Hello everybody. There actually have been some things that I have kind of left out on my first video. Well, this one, I figure I will give you a little bit of a background on this. About 20 years ago, which is really hard to believe that something in the 90s can be 20 years ago, back when I was a little kid, I was taken to a certain doctor who specified on people who have autism or Asperger syndrome, and basically he was observing me, and whereas in that point I was classified as an autistic person, that doctor, whom I do not know the name of, by the way, said that this kid does not have autism, he has Asperger syndrome. So yes, this is kind of me coming out of my social closet or something. I don't know how you say this, but yes, I do have Asperger syndrome. For those of you that are aware of it, it is a form of autism which has negative effects on social skills, and it's not really used to transitions and changes and everything else in between. I have been living with this pretty much all my life, but at the same time, I don't really find it to be too much of a burden. I mean, there are some positives in it. I take a lot of pride of being a smart individual. I always take pride into that, and I always make sure that I manage to keep pace into that. As you can see that there's a book in the background right there. I've been doing a lot of reading lately on just a bunch of topics. I kind of have a wide variety of what I'm kind of interested in, even though the majority of the books, and even my favorite book of all time, A People's History of the United States, they're mostly political. Even though I, for one, cannot stand politics because it's too much of a buzzkill. But I'm very interested in basketball. My favorite player of all time is Michael Jordan, whom still to this day is the greatest player to ever play this game. And what can I tell you more about people with Asperger's? Well, for starters, we do have that difficulty of starting conversations, which is where it is most prevalent to me. I want to start conversations. I want to have a social life towards people, especially with my friends whom I have not seen in years. There are people that I have not seen in a very long time. And it kind of hurts me that with some of the people that I cannot be able to see them just because of my inner anxieties, which are apparent in certain unfamiliar groups. And if I see somebody that I don't usually see, I somehow get a little bit too shy. I don't know why it's that way. I really don't know why. I mean, I want to start conversations with people, but for a lot of the time, I really just don't know how to start off per se. I mean, I can usually do the, hey, how you doing? Or, all that type of stuff, the basic stuff. It's continuing the conversation where I kind of have some difficulty. Although it hasn't really stopped me as far as getting education goes, because at that time I managed to get 2 associate's degrees at BCC, otherwise known as Broome Community College. They're now known as SUNY Broome, in 2 consecutive years in 2011 and 2012. The first year, it was for an associate's degree for individual studies. The second year, 2012, was for communications and media arts, which is why, because of that year, where I actually wanted to get into broadcasting, which is why this is really also the main motivation of me starting off my YouTube channel. And we do have lucid, memories, interests. I mean, we definitely have very good memories, which is something I take great pride in, and is one of the positives that you can see from somebody who has Asperger's syndrome. I have lived that, well, like I said, I've lived with that all my life. And unfortunately, it kind of came at a cost because I was a part of a 5-year program of the Oak Tree program at Windsor High School. Sadly, it was because of that where I couldn't be able to graduate with the class that I came up with in the high school. and caused me to go a half a year the following year so I can graduate in January of 2009. And right away I had to start at Broome Community College, which up until 2012 I had officially made my schooling there, but I struggled initially. There was a time where I didn't care for it. I initially started out as an accountant major basically, because I was very good with numbers and I thought that would be the best choice for me. Well, it turns out I was dead wrong, and I switched to individual studies, graduated in that year, then communications. I mean, I'm just basically rehashing what I already told earlier. So after BCC, I decided to go for Excelsior College, which was an online course, an online college basically, mainly because I forgot to actually apply for other colleges before the deadline came to pass. So I went there really just to continue on my education there. Yeah, I know I'm kind of going off base, just admitting I have Asperger's and all that type of stuff. But Excelsior was too much of a clusterfuck when it came to just really the payment and everything else in between. So it only lasted 1 year, and then I went to BU and got my bachelor's in English and Rhetoric, and I graduated there just last year, 2015. So now we got that all situated out. Let's go into what I'm actually here to talk to you about and actually stick to the point this time. I do have a little bit of frustrations. I do have a set way. I truly hate messing up talking, which is apparent if I just slip up on a word or anything else in between. It frustrates me. I don't know why it's been that way all of a sudden. I hesitate. Maybe I think too fast, or I don't know. But a lot of other times when I'm alone, I seem to kind of be just talking to myself, like I have a camera right in front of me so I can be able to say what I want to say. Sometimes it seems like I have memories are in the back of my head that can't really be shown to the people that kind of have my brain going and all that type of stuff. So there are interests, as I have said before. This could very well be one of them if that's the case. There was a time where I was interested in presidents, but I didn't really go too far in with it. Otherwise, I probably would be falling off of my interest with presidents sooner than later, per se. But I also have been interested in sports. I'm a big fan of the New York Yankees and baseball and basketball. I already kind of assumed that, but we do have more than one interest. And for people with Asperger's, we are capable of a lot of great things, myself included. As I said before in my first video, I'm working as a cleaner for Quality Services. And again, like I said before, it's not the job I want. I honestly feel like I can contribute a lot more than just cleaning. But the other reason is that because the job market is so terrible for broadcasters in this area, I've kind of have to go to these fine parts to go right ahead and at least showcase what I can do. So far as in between, I just hope that I can be able to live a prosperous life, live a life filled with positivity, as well as filled with a bunch of successes I can be proud of, because I want to work in a job that I won't be sick of after 5 months. I want to work in a job where I'm doing what I love, where I'm doing what I want to do. And really broadcasting, especially sports broadcasting, is what I really want to do. But yeah, that's about it. I've been living with this. I can't really say it's been a burden because it's a part of me. I mean, why would I want to get rid of something that's a part of me? Just because I have a mental disability doesn't mean that I'm not capable of anything that anybody else can do. It doesn't mean that I'm officially on a disadvantage, per se, compared to anybody else. we can do things better than a lot of other people can. But at the same time, there are things that we do need to improve on. And I know that I need to improve on a lot of things, not just from here, but from life in general, because I want to live a better life. I want to make a better self. For anybody that has Asperger's, just keep going. Don't stop trying to get to your goal. Someone will give you a chance. And I know that if you have one person that has a chance, it will make dividends on your life. Say, I'm one of you guys. I like to consider myself just one of the people. Except that I have this that kind of makes me more so of a minority as far as I'm concerned compared to being a majority. Even though I'm from a majority race, I am not of a majority kind. So, been rambling long enough. Hope you enjoyed it. And like and subscribe if you want to. Sandra Patrick, aka Raging Alchemist, signing out. Stay classy, everybody.